Sonic is a franchise with a bumpy road behind it. Nevertheless, Sonic the Hedgehog is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. Sonic has a lot of great games, and a lot of games aren't so great. For this video, let's focus on the 10 best Sonic the Hedgehog games ever. Now keep in mind, this is my personal list of games. You can share your personal list in the comments below if you wish to. Anyways, let's hop right into this video. For this first one, I chose to include both Rush games and Colors DS, mainly because they all essentially are the same game but with different levels and story. They all very much play the same. The major thing Sonic Rush did was introduce the boost to Sonic but in 2D. This felt like an evolution of the Sonic Advance gameplay we all know and love. It's fast paced, has a ton of action, and some pretty decent level design throughout all three of these games. I really enjoyed Colors DS and was satisfied with the final boss of Colors DS. And Sonic games never really have great final bosses most of the time, but this boss was actually pretty fun along with the Rush games. What also made the Rush games great was not really the story but the characters they introduced, like Blaze the Cat for the first time in the Sonic series. She's honestly a great and cool character. I just hate it when she gets sidelined. We also learn about the parallel universe and dimensions, kind of opening a new world to the Sonic lore and expanding it. They should most definitely do more with the lore in the future and explore more with it like Rush Adventure did. Sonic Forces is the newest entry in the Sonic franchise at this point in time. This game was very controversial leading up to the game's release. Many were mixed on this game heavily. I was quite optimistic for Sonic Forces. I thought it would turn out better than it did, but it's still one of the much better Sonic games compared to other Sonic games over the years. The game atmosphere and world building is what drew me into the game mostly, not really the gameplay itself. I like this game's presentation with the graphics, voice acting, and a bit of the story. I thought it was an average Sonic game, but much better than a lot of Sonic games we have seen in the past. It would be higher on this list, only if the game had longer levels and better level design, but it was a pretty simple boost formula game and I still liked it. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't amazing, but it's still better than most Sonic games that are out there. And honestly, there's not really much of a point spending too much time talking about this game since there's better games that do what this game does, but better. Sonic Heroes is a flawed game in a few areas, but overall, it's a really great experience. I played Heroes a bit later on after SA2 when I was a child, but I still really loved the game. I feel like the level design and presentation in Heroes was actually pretty good. I think one of the best levels in Sonic games was Grand Metropolis. I really enjoyed the atmosphere of that level and the design was pretty good. Most importantly, the game introduced the team mechanic where you switch between 3 different types: speed, fly, and power. And you had 4 teams with many characters being playable. Unfortunately, to me, the team mechanic of having to play all teams through pretty much similar levels that every other team went through brings down the experience a bit for me, which is why it isn't much higher on this list. Sonic CD is one of my favorite games, hence it being here on this list. I enjoy this game so much. Sonic CD is the most different out of the classics regarding level design, music, and presentation. The game presents itself as very odd but has really cool animation in the beginning of the game. The whole Sonic Boom sequence, and no, not the bad Sonic Boom, the good Sonic Boom, and the Sonic Boom in terms of animation. CD has one of the greatest soundtracks in the Sonic series, but maybe we can save that for another countdown. Sonic CD also introduces the Super Peel Out move, which is a pretty cool ability added within the game. And not to forget to mention, each stage has 3 different settings: the present, the past, and the future. And CD traveling between the 3 timelines is a really neat feature that they added in the game and gives a feeling of what Sonic does actually matters. It's part of why I love the game, and also the level design is just wild. They went all out in this game and I love it. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles is a great game. It's the evolution of the first 2 Sonic games, and most importantly, it includes the implementation of Knuckles. Knuckles is now a fan favorite character to many Sonic fans. Back in the day, Knuckles was cool and wasn't a brainless character like he is nowadays in the Sonic games. Let's talk gameplay. It's the classic Sonic games you know and love, with the speed and momentum based gameplay that attracted a ton of fans in the Sonic series in the first place. It had bigger and better level design than 1 and 2 and improved in almost every era of the first game. And the music is just amazing. That's one thing I really love about Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the music. It's so great. And even Michael Jackson, who was uncredited, has worked on Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the soundtrack. And this game's sprites are a little different from the first two games, and I really love the design of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in this game. And just the aesthetics of each zone is really cool. You have your standard Green Hill type, but you know, it's Angel Island this time around. You have your ice zone, and you have your fiery zone, and your volcanic zone. It's all here, but just improved. And it does more with the 3 playable characters. And Sonic 3 is just such a classic. It's such a great experience. And if you have not played this game, for some odd reason, I feel like this is a game you need to play. Where in the world do I even start with Sonic Mania? Sonic Mania is one of the greatest Sonic games that is to grace this earth. Both to me subjectively and objectively, it may as well be the best, but it's not my number one. This game does so much right and so little wrong. This game is absolutely amazing, and I have to say, first off, it's a must buy. But with that out of the way, let's talk about gameplay. And this game is the refined version of the classic games, even to the next level. It's a game made by the fans for the fans. There's so much love and care put into Sonic Mania, it's insane. I love it slightly more than Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The best part about the game is the level design and the new addition of the drop dash, and the ability to play as Sonic and Tails, Knuckles, Tails, or even just Sonic by himself. It has the new and old stages, but they all feel new because the level design is pretty much remixed and brand new for the old areas once seen before, and it even throws in so many surprises and manages to make it feel like it's all new with old aesthetic. But on top of that, there's even 4 brand new zones that were never in any Sonic game once before. Mania is a must buy, and that's why it is my number 5. Sonic Unleashed was a very mixed bag back in the day. After so many years gone by, people have really come to respect its daytime stages very highly. The daytime stages is what makes Sonic Unleashed to me. The Hedgehog isn't all that great, but considering games like Sonic Boom happen with its dull combat, it makes the Hedgehog look 10 times better. It makes it look like it has more depth. This game is the best example of the boost formula in my opinion. The daytime stages level design was superb, and the 2D sections weren't overbearing like how a lot of 3D Sonic games tend to be nowadays. There's something called the Unleashed project, which is a mod for Generations, and it's something that is really worth checking out if you have Generations and you know how to install mods on PC. It's all the daytime stages from Unleashed, but in Generations. I suggest playing that for the ultimate Unleashed daytime experience. Sonic Generations is the best boost game in the franchise with no doubt. There's no real gimmick that almost every Sonic game tries to include. It's the stuff we love, and even this time around it has classic Sonic, which is something that worked in the past. It isn't some kind of weird gimmick. The game just worked. It had great levels, reimagining 3 levels from each era: classic, Dreamcast, and the modern era. It was the ultimate nostalgia trip that actually worked. It managed to make every level feel new and fresh. Even classic Sonic was pretty fun the first time around, and it made for a great experience. Unleashed beats this game story-wise by far, but it didn't matter because the mods that the community came up for Sonic Generations still keeps this game fresh, and like I mentioned earlier, the Unleashed project is a great mod for this game, and it essentially turns it into Unleashed daytime stages. The adventure era is my favorite era of Sonic the Hedgehog hands down. A few games afterwards kinda stuck with this style of 3D gameplay, but Sonic Adventure was a huge jump from 2D to 3D. It brought in the whole new element of the Z-axis to Sonic. It included multiple playable characters that were for the most part enjoyable, besides Big the Cat. Actually, you know what? Big the Cat gameplay was 11 out of 10. It's better than any gameplay in any game hands down. Nothing rivals Big the Cat. Who would not want to go fishing? Other than Big the Cat, I think everyone played pretty much decently well. Gamma was pretty fun, Knuckles was pretty fun, Amy was okay, and then you have Big the Cat. And also Tails was actually really fun because essentially each level was a race with Sonic, and it was pretty fun actually. Other than that, Sonic's gameplay was great. There was no boost, there was no 2D, it was strictly a fast-paced 3D Sonic game with platforming and many other elements. I wish Sonic would go back to this style at some point, not saying it has to be SA3, but I would just love to see it return to the formula. This game is one of the greatest Sonic games to me. Although it hasn't aged very well, it's still a really good game, but it's not the best. I'm sure a ton of people expected this, but Sonic Adventure 2 is my favorite Sonic game, and in my opinion the best Sonic game. It took everything from SA1, 6 multiple playable characters, got rid of Big, added Shadow and Rouge, and made Eggman playable. This game is SA1, but on crack. It has a better and bit darker storyline, and the game has improvements in terms of level design. The main thing I miss is the hub road, but honestly it didn't bother me at all. This game right here is what got me into video games. Without this game I wouldn't be here right now on YouTube making these videos, or even talking to any of you right now. Just simply put it, without this game I wouldn't be in video games. Nostalgia out of the way, I genuinely enjoy this game for what it has to offer. I enjoy both stories, and playing as Shadow is very cool, and most importantly the soundtrack in this game is A1. This game just has the best soundtrack in Sonic games. My favorite theme is the Bio-Lizard theme, probably out of every Sonic song. It's just that good to me, and this game is truly the best Sonic game to me personally. So what did you think of my list? What are your top 10 Sonic games? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. I'll see you guys in the next video.